The heart donor I had been waiting for 5 long years finally arrived. Yet my wife, a cardiology specialist, gave the heart that matched me to her first love. Also, he could complete a critical surgery on his patient and secure a promotion to department chief. Heng Yuan, stop being difficult. As a doctor's family member, you need to be magnanimous. So, for the sake of her first love's career, I'm the one who deserves to die? Until my body was donated to the medical university where Lu Xian taught. She collapsed in the classroom and never stood in an operating room again. In the hospital room, Song Yin, my childhood friend, looked at me anxiously. Heng Yuan, how are you feeling? I weakly opened my mouth, but uttered no words. Lu Xian rushed in. Heng Yuan, Dr. Zheng needs my help. I'll come see you after I return. I grabbed her white lab coat, desperate to keep her from leaving. She frowned disapprovingly. Heng Yuan, I'm a doctor. I must prioritize other patients first. You're a doctor's family member. Be magnanimous. But Zheng Ling wasn't a patient at all. He was Lu Xian's junior brother, her white moonlight. That surgery didn't strictly require Lu Xian's presence. She was merely there to add icing on the cake. I clung tightly to the hem of her coat, only to be met with Lu Xian's darkened expression. I wanted to say, Lu Xian, could you stay and keep me company? As always, she turned away cool and composed, until her footsteps faded entirely. She didn't look back. A doctor's family member? My childhood friend Song Yan, who is also a doctor, would rush to my side at the first moment whenever I felt unwell, no matter how busy she was. Lu Xian, if you've changed your heart, I can leave you. Let's talk after the heart transplant surgery is over. But I couldn't wait that long. After a vicious relapse of my illness, I had just undergone emergency treatment, only to vomit blood at dawn the next day and be wheeled back into the ICU. Song Yin made countless calls to Lu Xian, first met with busy tones, then a switched-off phone. Song Yin was frantic like an ant on a hot pan. My vision grew increasingly blurred, and the sounds I heard became fragmented. Song Yin, what do we do? Lu Xian gave Ji Heng Yuan's compatible heart to Zheng Ling. Are you kidding? What use does Zheng Ling have for a heart? Hurry and prep for surgery. Since we can't reach Lu Xian, we'll have to ask my senior colleague to lead the operation. Zheng Ling needs that heart to secure his surgical evaluation promotion. The patient's compatibility just happens to. As the heart monitor flatlined, my soul drifted free from my body. My sight and hearing returned to clarity. I saw Song Yin clutching my lifeless form, sobbing uncontrollably. My senior colleague stood at my bedside, fists clenched, his heart heavy with regret. I fought for 5 years to wait for a compatible heart. In the end, I still didn't survive. I knew I was dead. Song Yin must have been devastated. She couldn't pull me back from death's door. Ascending upward, I arrived at Lu Xian's office. Looking at the photo on her desk, I finally calmed down to reflect on our relationship. To be honest, Lu Xian is the type of striking beauty. Back then, I was moved by her dedication to academics, coupled with her impoverished background, which successfully awakened my compassion for her. Unlike others, she never felt inferior because of her family circumstances. Instead, she openly accepted my financial support. Her open and unrestrained, not the least bit coy attitude completely bewitched my heart, pulling me deeper into the abyss. Who could have imagined she had a white moonlight? I stared at her photo. Even after all these years of marriage, the frame still doesn't contain me. If you don't like me, then don't mess with me. There are plenty of better people than you. It's not like I'm lacking admirers. What exactly do I love about you? I drifted aimlessly, following traces of Lu Xian's presence, until returning home. Only then did I see Lu Xian's figure, alongside Zheng Ling and his son. The heartwarming scene of them gathered around the table eating resembled that of a family of 3. They were eating the celery and pork dumplings I had prepared. Lu Xian often forgot meals when busy with work. For her health, I frequently made and froze dumplings for her to eat at home. Her blood pressure was slightly high, and celery helps lower it, hence the celery pork filling. Yet I loathe celery most of all. For some reason, I cannot stray more than 2 meters away from Lu Xian. A phone call shattered the trio's warmth. Lu Xian, Heng Yuan he. Before the caller could finish, Lu Xian hung up. Ji Heng Yuan, being a doctor's family member, can't he be more generous? How annoying. It seems Song Yin had borrowed someone's phone to inform Lu Xian of my death. She appeared to have forgotten I was still at the hospital. After the meal, she drove Zheng Ling and his son to Shanghai. Aunt Lu, I love Disneyland most. Lu Xian patted his head and promised to bring him here often. We had dated for 3 years and been married for 5. After the wedding, Lu Xian said she hated children, so we needed to be a dink couple. She only told me this after marriage. At the time, I didn't overthink it, assuming she was prioritizing my health, concerned about my heart condition. Yet Lu Xian had been pregnant once, during our first year of marriage. I'd been ecstatic then. I'd hoped to keep the child, but Lu Xian grew despondent. saying her career was peaking and she couldn't afford the distraction. Afterward, she never mentioned children again, and I dared not press the issue. Only now do I realize it wasn't that she disliked children, but that she disliked having children with me. How laughable. Look how doting she is with Zheng Ling's son. What does this mean? Love the crow for the sake of the rook? Song Yin had warned me many times, insisting Lu Xian didn't love me. But back then, I refused to hear it. Anyone who spoke ill of Lu Xian became my enemy. At the dinner table, Zheng Ling suddenly grabbed Lu Xian's hand, and she did not refuse. Xian, won't delaying Ji Hengyuan's cardiac source allocation for my sake affect him? Lu Xian clasped his hand in return, her tone gentle. Don't worry. Ji Hengyuan is still in stable health, and he's wealthy. He doesn't lack access to cardiac sources. But your patient comes from poverty. This is her only chance. Aling, once this surgery succeeds, you'll become deputy director. I have no regrets. In the operating room, I didn't hear those words clearly. It turned out they were the ones who harmed me. Using my life to curry favor? You don't regret it? What a hypocrite, sacrificing others' lives for your own gain. I must have been blind to love someone like you. Zheng Ling hugged Lu Xian and suddenly suggested calling me to ask if I had been discharged from the hospital. Lu Xian frowned slightly. Zheng Ling urged her again. Xian, hurry and check with Hengyuan. I'm worried about him. Lu Xian hesitated but took out her phone, preparing to call me. At this moment, the child began wailing. Auntie, you won't play with me. Play with me. Lu Xian decisively stuffed her phone back into her pocket. Hengyuan will be fine. It's just his chronic illness flaring up again. He's endured it for 5 years. A little longer won't matter. Your professional title is of great importance. He'll understand. I felt utterly exhausted and drained, watching Lu Xian shower tenderness on Zheng Ling and his son while begrudging me even a phone call. My lips parted weakly. I wanted to ask, Lu Xian, if you don't love me, why did you marry me? Night fell, fireworks blossoming across the amusement park. The fireworks show I'd begged Lu Xian to watch with me countless times finally unfolded before my eyes. But I was no longer there to see it. After washing up, Lu Xian finally remembered my existence and dialed my number. The number you have dialed is powered off. Lu Xian stared at her phone in disbelief. Indeed, my phone had always been on 24/7 standby, terrified of missing any message from her. Throughout our relationship, only she held the privilege to say no. I stood before her, gently smoothing out her furrowed brows. Are you worried about me? No. Why would you worry about me? If you don't love me, why did you accept my support? Why did you marry me? Lu Xian couldn't hear my words. She threw her phone onto the bed, then walked straight through my soul, startling me. I was about to speak again but pressed my lips tightly shut. Never mind. She can't hear me. The three of them spent 3 days traveling together, until Lu Xian's younger brother abroad asked her about my recent health condition. She finally remembered my existence. But she feared her colleagues might learn about her trip with Zheng Ling. She stayed in Shanghai alone for an entire day before returning. A traffic accident occurred in the suburbs of Beijing. When Lu Xian rushed to the hospital to prepare for surgery, the heavy door slammed open. Song Yin entered. Lu Xian, Hung Yuan he. Lu Xian's sterilizing motions didn't pause for a second. Song Yin, you're a doctor too. Can't you see I'm already on the table? I sighed. Lu Xian was just like this. Everything else was more important than me, especially when it came to her career. Still, I suggested she go today. After all, it was the day my remains were being donated to the medical university. Turning my head, I saw the face of Zheng Ling's son under the support frame and felt ridiculous. In Lu Xian's heart, Zheng Ling's son would always matter more than me. The child's condition wasn't looking good. As Lu Xian meticulously dissected the adhered tissues, the lead door was stomped open a second time. Director Lu, please go see Mr. Ji one last time. But Lu Xian refused again. I must take responsibility for my patient. Hengyuan would understand. Fine. Everyone was more important than me, more important than my life. I was furious, but mostly helpless. When the lead door was stomped open a third time, the Zheng family's son was already stable. Director Lu, they've been waiting downstairs for an hour. Are you really not going down? Lu Xian finally lost her temper. Do you even know the rules? It's been an hour. Go find another doctor if you're sick. Can't you see I'm busy? I was actually somewhat glad she couldn't see my remains. She didn't deserve it. After Zheng Ling's son's surgery, Lu Xian still hadn't remembered my existence. She personally carried the child to his bed, sat at the bedside monitoring his blood oxygen levels for 2 hours, before finally exhaling deeply. Unexpectedly, Lu Xian's younger brother who should have been in England appeared at the hospital. Sis, where's my brother-in-law? Lu Xian froze. His friend Song Yin is with him. He should be fine. Oh, let's go see him together. No, I can't leave here. Later, I saw her unlock her phone and redial the husband contact. She seemed tinged with guilt when a foreign nurse interrupted her thoughts. Director Lu, Mr. G has already been taken by Director Song Yan. Lu Xian hung up, eyes flashing with anger, stony-faced and silent. The nurse was taken aback, seemingly naive. Are expecting her to be so heartless. Her own husband had died, yet she wouldn't even claim his remains. When Zheng Ling arrived at the ward, he brought unwelcome news. Xian, Song Yan reported me and seized Hung Yuan's cardiac donor source. Lu Xian immediately instructed his response. When the authorities ask where you obtained the donor, just say you didn't know. You're merely the lead surgeon. Everything was arranged by the hospital. Say your patient had a sudden attack, and upon learning about the matching cardiac donor, you sequestered yourself for preoperative preparations. You were unaware that donor was intended for my husband. The reason you passed by my husband's ward was because you were looking for me, planning to ask me to be your assistant. After laying out these instructions, she added, leave the rest to me. This gentle yet meticulous tone gave Zheng Ling complete sense of security. At that moment, I saw Zheng Ling's eyes reddening again. He said, Xian, you're so good to me. I wouldn't know what to do without you. Lu Xian gazed at him with determination. You'll never be without me. I'll always be here. Yes, he would always have her. After all, the obstacle between them, me, was gone. Yet after speaking, Lu Xian kept staring at the chat history between her and me on her phone. As if struck by a thought, she suddenly stood up and hurried toward the door. But the next second, Zheng Ling wrapped his arms around her from behind. Don't go, please. I need you. Lu Xian stayed. Listening to their conversation, I laughed, a laugh that tore through my heart. What were they afraid of? That my vengeful spirit would seek revenge? 5 years of devotion couldn't withstand a single glance from his white moonlight. Lu Xian and Zheng Ling were childhood sweethearts, once an enviable young couple. Later, they attended universities in different cities. The distance and financial struggles drove them apart. Additionally, both encountered people in university who were willing to support them financially, leading to their separation. When I met Lu Xian, I asked if she had a boyfriend, and she firmly told me no. I've never seen a woman with clearer eyes than hers. What moved me more was her ambitious heart beneath her seemingly impoverished exterior. I witnessed her rescuing stray dogs, her careful nursing making her appear bathed in holy light. The way she accepted my financial support without arrogance or subservience further revealed her charm. I lingered around her, yet never dared confess my feelings. It was she who finally asked me, will you be my boyfriend? Shocked, I was immediately overwhelmed with joy. Everyone knew I loved Lu Xian. How could she, the person involved, not know? It was simply willful ignorance. It was simply weighing advantages and disadvantages. Yes, with nothing to my name. Would you build everything from scratch with me? Lu Xian said. That day, my love-struck brain took over. I also had no idea that Lu Xian had an unrequited white moonlight in her heart. I am a rich second-generation heir, born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Since childhood, my parents laid everything good at my feet. Everyone fawned over me. Only Lu Xian made me realize that not everyone in this world revolves around me. I accompanied Lu Xian from being an obscure junior doctor all the way to her position as a cardiology specialist. But the journey was exceptionally arduous. Lu Xian once faced a medical accident where a patient's family member nearly slit her throat. It was I who tackled that man, saving her life. Later, I spent half of my savings to protect her career. Consumed by guilt toward the patient, Lu Xian plunged into her work, sometimes staying awake for 3 days and nights, honing her medical skills to perfection. During this period, her health deteriorated drastically, and her stomach became utterly ruined from neglect. To care for her, I voluntarily requested a job transfer. I used to be an orthopedic surgeon with a thriving career, but my frequent surgical duties left me with little time for Lu Xian. It wasn't until Lu Xian was hospitalized with gastric hemorrhage that I resolved to abandon my beloved profession and transition to a less demanding position. I don't know if my attentive care and self-sacrifice ever moved her, but I know I moved myself. I also received Song Yan's roar. That woman is only after your money. Do you have to sacrifice yourself like this? I ignored her, because I could sense that Lu Xian was treating me better and better. She would accompany me to do things I enjoyed, and even learn cooking for my sake, until Zheng Ling's appearance completely disrupted the rhythm of Lu Xian's and my life. The first time I learned of Zheng Ling's existence was on Lu Xian's birthday. Lu Xian's younger brother and I waited for her to come home for dinner, but she didn't return until late into the night. She who had never touched alcohol before was now completely wasted. She kept murmuring something, but it was from her brother's mouth that I first heard Zheng Ling's name. Zheng Ling had married into a bourgeois family years ago. They had a son after marriage, but his wife didn't care about him, and their life was miserable. The next day at the hospital, I met Zheng Ling for the first time. He warmly called me brother-in-law. Brother-in-law, what happened between Xian and me is all in the past. Don't overthink it. That day, Zheng Ling added me on WeChat. He said he had few friends and hoped we'd stay in touch. After that, everything returned to normal, with nothing particularly noteworthy. But whenever Zheng Ling needed help, no matter how busy Lu Xian was, she'd rush to him immediately. She said, Zheng Ling's son is sick. A grown man like him can't take care of a child. I need to check on them. Zheng Ling's son's birthday, he has no mother. I'll go keep him company. Zheng Ling's surgery needs an assistant. I'll go help. Too many times, Lu Xian had to leave me because of Zheng Ling. But she always reassured me, don't overthink it. Zheng Ling and I are completely innocent. Every time, I tried to convince myself there was nothing between them. You're my family. You should understand me. But I was once a doctor too. Only after witnessing them together did I realize I was nothing but a joke. How pathetic. Song Yin once told me Lu Xian wasn't the right person, but I refused to believe it and even lashed out at her. Lu Xian once claimed Song Yin had ulterior motives toward me. I pretended to suddenly see the light, but deep down, I'd never doubt Song Yin. Outwardly, though, I acted as if a rift had grown between Song Yin and me. Truthfully, I'd been waiting for my heart transplant surgery, planning to divorce Lu Xian afterward. But I never imagined she'd be so cruel. She directly severed my lifeline. Song Yin must be furious. I'm terrified she might do something reckless. As for my parents, with Song Yin there, they probably won't face any major issues. My parents dedicated themselves to grooming me to take over the family business, but I turned out to be a love-struck fool. They angrily left the country right before my wedding. Right now, I'm truly furious. Furious that I've let scumbag woman Lu Xian benefit so cheaply. All properties under my name would have become her and Zheng Ling's foundation for building their love nest. Wait, it seems she can't actually access my money. Lu Xian and Zheng Ling have come to my house again. Just as they reached the entrance, they encountered the elderly vegetable delivery auntie. That young man's disappeared somewhere. Knocked for ages, but no answer. His wife has high blood pressure. Every Saturday, he orders celery and pork from me. Says he makes dumplings for her. His wife's got stomach issues. I taught him kanji making methods. Never saw what his wife looks like though. Lu Xian's mouth opened slightly. Auntie, are these deliveries for my home? After repeated confirmations, the old woman gave Lu Xian a suspicious glance at Zheng Ling before handing over the groceries. I sighed soundlessly. Lu Xian, you still haven't paid auntie. Entering the room, Zheng Ling was handling work at the desk while Lu Xian, wearing an apron, wrapped dumplings and cooked porridge. The very image of a model virtuous wife. Was this still my good wife who never lifted a finger to do housework, wholly devoted to studying classic literature? So she could do all these things, she just wasn't willing to do them for me. My soul remained forced to follow Lu Xian, with no idea when this torment would end. Xian, can I stay tonight? Zheng Ling adopted a humble tone. Not tonight. Lu Xian refused. This surprised me. She had never refused Zheng Ling before. Heng Yuan has been discharged from the hospital. He might return any time. So she's afraid I'll catch them in the act. Then come to my place, all right? No. Tomorrow I'm meeting Heng Yuan. There's not enough money in the card to buy your house anymore, Lu Xian explained. Don't feel awkward. Heng Yuan has money. You two need a home of your own. I mentally slapped Lu Xian several times across the void. Is my money meant to support your man? Fucking hell. Under the dim light, Zheng Ling's pale face was flushed as he held Lu Xian in his arms. Xian. Lu Xian hooked her arms around his neck, gazing at him with adoring eyes. The typically aloof Lu Xian only showed such tenderness toward Zheng Ling. My heart still ached. Ever since Zheng Ling's wife died in a car accident, Lu Xian had been distracted, indifferent to everything, and increasingly dismissive and cold toward me. My chronic illness relapsed after our argument, because she wanted Zheng Ling and his son to live in my vacant apartment. Zheng Ling once saved me from starvation. I can't ignore this. Tears welled in my eyes. Just because of that. Lu Xian was silent for a moment. We're already married. What are you even afraid of? What was I afraid of? She knew the answer perfectly well, but chose to pretend otherwise. That night, I lost control of my emotions and asked her for a divorce for the first time. Lu Xian's expression darkened further. Without a word, she pushed me out the door. You need to reflect on yourself. It was during that incident that my heart condition flared up. Trembling, I wrapped my arms around myself and desperately pounded on the door for help, but she turned a deaf ear. It was Song Yin who saved me by bringing fruits over in time. Thankfully, she carried my heart medication with her, preventing me from dying outright. The pity is I realized things too late. Just as I resolved to leave her, this new crisis erupted. Lu Xian truly brought Zheng Ling into our home. I watched Lu Xian gently massaging Zheng Ling's shoulders and neck. The tender scene left me momentarily dazed. That year, fresh out of university, I married Lu Xian. When her mother developed stomach cancer, we took turns caring for her daily. Returning home at night, we'd massage each other like this. Xian, you must never massage others in the future. Okay, I'll only massage Heng Yuan. She had clearly promised me that back then. Then again, How could Zheng Ling be considered an outsider? From the very beginning to the end, he had always been her unwavering preference. I truly wanted to leave. But after several attempts, whenever I ventured 10 meters away from Lu Xian, a tearing pain would abruptly surge through me, even more intense than during my episodes. I had no time to wallow in sorrow before being struck by the scene before me. Zheng Ling's arm encircled Lu Xian's waist as their gazes locked. Xian, I still love you. What about you? I've never forgotten you either. I curled my lips in a sarcastic smile, staring blankly at the gold digger and kept man before me. Zheng Ling's eyes brightened. Then what about Heng Yuan? He treats you so well, do you love him? Lu Xian froze, silent. In the next heartbeat, Zheng Ling kissed her lips. Lu Xian's body froze, but after merely a second of stillness, she turned the tables and deepened the kiss. I stifled my disgust, watching helplessly as they embraced intimately. Xian, I know he's always looked down on your background. Only I truly love you. Zheng Ling panted, reaching to unbutton her shirt. Lu Xian pushed him away sharply. No. After a long silence, she said, Zheng Ling, I'm married. We can't do this. Zheng Ling understood. I'll wait. I also understood, unfortunately, divorce wasn't an option. Lu Xian's reasoning was that until we divorced, she wouldn't be with Zheng Ling, as it would tarnish his reputation. She just didn't want Zheng Ling labeled as a homewrecker. Too bad he already was. Everyone knew. Lu Xian froze the wrapped dumplings in the fridge, then boiled the ones I'd previously frozen. Her fingertips rubbed repeatedly against the stove's edge, a sign of inner turmoil. I watched her coldly. What was there to fret about after declaring love to her white moonlight? All right, we weren't divorced yet. Probably frustration from unmet desires. Suddenly, Lu Xian's phone lit up, and she immediately opened it. The next second, a flicker of disappointment passed through her eyes. I suddenly felt curious to see the gossip, wondering which new admirers or flings were messaging her. At the sight, I froze. She had opened the WeChat chat interface with me. Since the night I was rushed to emergency care, we hadn't exchanged a single message. The last record was my text to her. Wife, our wedding anniversary is coming up. Where should we go for our date? Perhaps she was too busy with work that day, or preoccupied with caring for Zheng Ling and his son. She never replied. Now Lu Xian kept refreshing WeChat, as if waiting for a message from me. I didn't understand what she was doing. In a daze, Lu Xian sent a message. Lu Xian, it's almost 12 o'clock. Midnight. Our wedding anniversary was about to end. In all these years together, I'd never missed a single day that belonged to her. I always prepared gifts, yet. This year, we weren't together. The weekly Saturday celery dumplings I made for her. This week, I didn't make them either. But I won't accompany her anymore. Nor will I ever again. Because I'm already dead. Having finished boiling the dumplings, Lu Xian's face had turned ashen. When the clock struck exactly midnight, she threw her phone onto the dining table. Expressionlessly, she mechanically bowed her head and ate the dumplings one by one. After Zheng Ling arrived, the chill around Lu Xian intensified. Seeing their current state, I suddenly felt that Lu Xian probably cared about me. I was surprised, then self-mocking. In truth, Lu Xian's family circumstances could no longer be described as merely impoverished. Not only did I provide her tuition and living expenses, but even her mother's medical treatment costs, and everything her younger brother needed came from me. It was I who pulled their entire family out of the quagmire. Her brother told me Lu Xian has hereditary hypertension, so I made celery dumplings for her. She finished an entire plate and actually complimented me. I'll make them for you often from now on. At that moment, Lu Xian gazed deeply at me. Heng Ying, do you really not look down on my background? I held her in my arms. I love you, every part of you. The next day, we got our marriage certificate. Later, I comforted myself. As long as we had good feelings, nothing else mattered. Looking back, these years of wholehearted devotion still left marks in her heart. A sudden noise pulled me back from my thoughts. Lu Xian seemed to have been dazed too, not even noticing the vinegar staining her clothes. I instinctively reached to wipe it, but my hand passed straight through her form. Then the stain was wiped away by another hand. What were you thinking about? Zheng Ling's gentle voice sounded. The dumplings were delicious. Did your aunt make them? Lu Xian slightly furrowed her brows. Heng Yuan made them. My mother passed away. Is today your wedding anniversary? Lu Xian froze. Zheng Ling openly spread his hands. Your phone was on the table. I read your chat history. I never expected you never changed your password. 0304. The day we became official. My heart still aches. I once wanted to use the same password as Lu Xian, but she refused. So it was because of Zheng Ling. I stared coldly at Lu Xian. Heng Yuan has never argued with me before. This time, he's truly angry. I want to go see him tomorrow. Suddenly, I wanted to laugh. Laugh at myself for being a love-struck fool. Zheng Ling remained silent for a long moment. He truly loves you. These dumplings were specially made for you too, weren't they? You refused to let me stay overnight because you wanted to contact him, didn't you? Lu Xian said nothing. Zheng Ling spoke again. I still want more. Lu Xian's gaze darkened. There's only one portion left. I'll cook the ones I just wrapped for you. I want to eat the ones Heng Yuan made. Lu Xian warned quietly. Zheng Ling. Zheng Ling met her eyes. Xian, I'll make dumplings for you from now on. A flicker of conflict flashed in Lu Xian's eyes, but she agreed. Yet Zheng Ling stopped eating. I stared blankly at everything before me, my heart being stabbed and bleeding profusely. This wasn't just about dumplings. Perhaps it was my imagination, but the next day, Lu Xian's attitude toward Zheng Ling grew markedly colder. I watched her apathetically, as if all emotion had drained from my heart. The following day, Lu Xian found the divorce agreement I'd left for her in the drawer. Prepared a month ago, intended to discuss it with her after my heart transplant surgery. In truth, I'd only wanted to use this agreement to force Lu Xian to confront her own feelings. Once, I thought I'd found true love, but Zheng Ling divorced. Whether he thrived or suffered, Lu Xian remained his first responder, even after his betrayal. And my wife? She granted his every demand, used my money to buy him a house, raised his son, even offered my cardiac donor match to advance Zheng Ling's career. When she saw the divorce papers, her face darkened like ink. She kept calling my phone, demanding answers. Her eyes were filled with ice that refused to melt. The number you have dialed is powered off. She lowered her eyelids. Heng Yin, do you really not want me anymore? Yes. I don't want you anymore. I've completely let you go. You can finally be with Zheng Ling now. Suddenly, I remembered something. I had signed an agreement with Song Yin before marriage. I noticed Lu Xian seemed dispirited. During her drive to teach at the medical university, she spaced out multiple times, nearly causing a car accident. Zheng Ling pushed her blankly. Xian, let me drive. You should rest. Lu Xian also froze, then sat in the passenger seat trying to sleep. Later, she found herself unable to sleep at all, staring fixedly at the plushie in the car, lost in thought. Whether Zheng Ling was testing her or being careless, he accidentally knocked over the plushie that belonged to me. Lu Xian rarely showed him a cold face. Don't touch it. Then she carefully adjusted the plushie back into place. Throughout the journey, Lu Xian kept spacing out. Seeing the Dunsu mirror belonging to me in the passenger seat would make her zone out. Seeing the car Shang Tsui I bought for her would make her zone out. Even when parking, she called out Heng Yuan instead of Zheng Ling's name. I sneered as I watched them. The class bell rang. Lu Xian taught at the medical university as usual. When she opened the textbook, several photos her on appeared. I calm. Ly watched Lu Xian's face grow increasingly pale. There were surveillance screenshots of my emergency hospital rescue, images of the heart monitor flatlining, photos of my body being covered with a white sheet. She collapsed limply onto the floor, pupils constricting. I narrowed my eyes, staring at this woman I'd loved my entire life. The phone rang. It was her brother. What the hell were you doing? Why did you kill brother-in-law? What kind of sick joke are you playing? Shisa Yisha asked. Sis, you gave brother-in-law's heart donor source to Zheng Ling. He's dead. I hate you. I hope you and Zheng Ling die horribly. Her brother on the other end choked up a bit. Lu Xian rubbed her wedding ring. Little brother, stop this. I was wrong. Tell me where Heng Yuan is, okay? Impossible. You're all lying to me. Lu Xian's lips trembled. Brother-in-law has been dead for a week. You've been with Zheng Ling every single day. Did you ever care about him even once? How could you face him? Lu Xian's face turned deathly pale. It's impossible. I loved Heng Yuan. It was always Heng Yuan. He couldn't have died. Then came the beep, beep, beep of a disconnected call. I watched her silently. If this were before, I might have been happy she loved me. But now I'm dead. Lu Xian ran to find Song Yin. I watched as Lu Xian frantically questioned Song Yin about everything. Saw her clutch her head and weep. Song Yin said indifferently, "Belated affection is cheaper than grass." Song Yin left. To my delight, I left together with Song Yin. The next day, Lu Xian came to claim my ashes. I clung desperately to Song Yin, restlessness crawling like ants gnawing at my heart. I absolutely refused to return to her side. Heng Yuan's ashes have already been scattered into the great river by me. You don't deserve him. Lu Xian roared, even calling the police. But as my legally appointed guardian, Song Yin had full authority to make these decisions. Song Yin naturally inherited all my assets. Because I'd made a premarital notarization, should I pass away, everything would belong to Song Yin. She would care for my parents in my stead. Lu Xian refused to relent, often ambushing Song Yin and demanding she return me. I kicked and punched at Lu Xian, wishing I could kill her, but my blows passed through empty air. A month later, Zheng Ling was dismissed by the hospital for violating procedures. This time, Lu Xian couldn't protect him. She was struggling to protect herself. How tragic for this renowned cardiology expert to lose her ability to wield a scalpel. I watched coldly and satisfied as Song Yin packed up her belongings and threw them out. I could clearly feel my overwhelming hatred for Lu Xian gradually fading as Song Yan's revenge unfolded. While feeling vindicated, an endless sense of guilt welled up in my heart. My life was so exhausting, and even in death, I'm making my childhood friend Song Yan suffer so much. Slowly, my range of movement expanded, allowing me to drift around many familiar people. I followed Lu Xian to a cemetery, watching her murmur to a tombstone. A staff member inside sighed. Just an empty grave. She's so devoted. Another staff member sneered. Devotion? She killed her own husband to please her mistress. Lu Xian's face turned deathly pale, collapsing to the ground the next second. Heng Yuan, I truly didn't know you would die. I never cheated. When you helped pay my tuition back then, I was grateful, but couldn't repay you. I already had a boyfriend. Later, Zheng Ling abandoned me because he despised poverty and coveted wealth, so I asked if you were willing to be my boyfriend. You agreed, and we were very happy together. Later, when Zheng Ling was driven out of his family, I just empathized. No one had helped my family back then, so I had to help Zheng Ling. There was really nothing between us. I stared coldly at Lu Xian, feeling nothing but disgust. Lu Xian spent all her money on Zheng Ling. Having not received my inheritance, she fell into financial difficulties. Zheng Ling found a new sugar daddy. Xian, don't blame me. I need to survive too. Song Yan seemed to sense my presence, transferring to another hospital. This was good. I wouldn't be reminded of the past anymore. 1 year after my death, Lu Xian remained in this decadent state. Later, she met a man bearing 30% resemblance to me and began pursuing him. How ironic. I lost my life because of her, while she lost love, forcing herself to spend the rest of her days with my substitute. This lookalike swindled her money, yet she relished it, buying him everything. What to do when there was no money? She began engaging in black market dealings, performing heart replacement surgeries for others. Later, she was hacked to death by assailants. Song Yan expressed some regret upon hearing this. I was waiting for her to go to prison. I opened my mouth. This is even more satisfying. That lookalike walked with Song Yan into a secret hospital room. Song Yan frequented this place, but I couldn't enter. My form was fading gradually. Soon I would detach from this world entirely. Yet I still felt some regret. I never got to see Mom and Dad. They probably didn't know I'd died. I hoped Song Yan could keep it from them. The sorrow of parents outliving their child, just thinking about it was heartbreaking. Heng Yuan, time to wake up. You've been lying here for a year. I opened my eyes. Later, I learned Song Yan had prepared 2 cardiac sources for me initially. She was a perfectionist, always creating backups for everything, never expecting this would be their purpose. She had long since opened her own private hospital, but she never expected Lu Xian to be so spiceable as to give away my heart donor source. So that day, she actually transferred me to her hospital in time, and fortunately, the surgery was successful, but I remained unconscious. Yet she couldn't stand to see Lu Xian and Zheng Ling live comfortably, so she kept tormenting and retaliating against them on my behalf. After I woke up, I gradually recovered and took over my parents' company.